On these developments, David Susi joins us now. He is a CNN safety analyst and former FAA inspector. David, we saw that video that appeared to show the plane hitting the runway without its landing gear fully deployed. What does that video tell you?
Well, there's obviously a lot of things went wrong all at the same time. There's a couple of reasons that gear may have been up. One would be the mechanical failure of it, and there was notice before that the pilot had made a note about the landing gear when he took off. But as he approached the airport without an engine from the bird strike, it could possibly be that he left that gear up intentionally to try to gain enough speed and range to make it to the airport as well. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, and luckily we have the black boxes to go to for those answers.
So talk to us a little bit more about a possible bird strike here and how that might have played a role in all of this.
So some people were saying before that the bird strike has something to do with the landing gear going down. And in my experience, I haven't seen that ever happen before. A bird strike at most would cause that engine to go into flames or to fail. And it appears that that's what happened. There's some video showing that may have happened in flight. So I believe that the pilot was dealing with that bird strike. Now, if the right engine had gone out, it's very, very rare for a flock of birds to get into both engines and cause that failure. And you can tell that there's still power on the one engine as it made its approach. So, but one engine isn't always enough to get you where you want to go. So there's so many questions about what happened, but a bird strike is pretty sure that did occur, and how the pilot reacted to that bird strike is still the part that's in question.
Right. I mean, so does it make sense to you that you would do an emergency landing and a go round because of a bird strike like that if it just took out one engine?
Yeah, because you have to think about when you come in for a landing, the approach setup is extremely important. This airspeed that you have to set your airplane to, you have to understand the angle and the descent that you're coming in at. So all of that has to be set up miles and miles and miles ahead of the airport. So if you come in and things aren't right, if you get a bird strike, or if there's any anomaly that happens during that phase of approach, you talk about doing a go around. So what that means is that you have your throttles back, you have everything set, but when you get down closer to the airport, you can do a go around. There's actually a button that says go around on the airplane, and when you push that, it throttles back up and you get airspeed to go around and make another approach so that you can set it up properly. When there's some anomaly that happens, it can set that off very badly. And in this case, it looks like it did, because they didn't land at the front of the airport where they should have. They landed further down, so their airspeeds were too hot, they were too fast, and then that's why they careened off the airport the way that they did.
And what do you make of the construction of the airport and that concrete wall, where they rammed into?
Yeah, that's something that I'm looking into right now. Airport designs require that the aircraft can go off the runway at a higher speed, and that it has enough room and enough area with no obstacles to continue to slow itself down, or to let the friction stop the aircraft. And that's in the airport design manuals that are out there by the FAA and are accepted worldwide. So those regulations, I'm looking at them right now, but in my mind, there's no reason to have had a concrete structure the size that they did just off that runway. And that would have made a big difference in how this ended.
You have to wonder how many lives would have been saved had that not been there, which is just awful to even think about. David Susi, thank you so much.